fighter and moving forward?
Mortiz Wal is very dangerous. He's a very dangerous fighter. Actually coming back from a loss against Fundora, and Tszyu, it was also the right time for Mortiz Wal to come in and put up a great victory over Tszyu. But he needs. He's a fighter that a lot of 154 pound fighters are avoiding. Why? Because nobody knows him, and he's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's a high risk, little reward
It's a high risk, not much a reward, but that guy is very dangerous. That's why they're keeping him on the outside, unless they have to, unless it's a mandatory, unless it's necessary. But meanwhile, they're going to keep him out there because he's very dangerous. He has power. He's aggressive. He fights really well.
What were your thoughts with that destruction of Tszyu as a outside looking in? What were your thoughts when you saw that?
When I saw him beat Tszyu, I thought that was Tszyu's last fight because he really put a beating on Tszyu on that fight, and I didn't think Tszyu would recover from that to come back. That also put a lot of wear and tear on him that benefited Fundora on his last one.
As a trainer, when you see something like that, what do you advise your fighter? Do you tell him we're going to take 6 months off, 8 months off, 10 months off?
It just depends on the reaction. Some fighters they have a mark in them. They have a mark in their head after a beating like that. And usually in my position, I always let's say for example after a beating like that, I wouldn't jump into a big fight like that. Get a couple easy fights, build his confidence because it's still in his head. A beating like that can affect you mentally walking into a fight against a Fundora. He should have taken at least a couple of easy fights before stepping in the ring again.
There's a lot of criticism that Tszyu's team has taken over the last year and a half, 2 years with the Fundora fight, not stopping that fight when that could happen. Getting in a fight with a dangerous fighter, like you said, with Mortiz Wal, running it back with Fundora. Do you feel like there was some bad decision making on that management team?
There is. I'm sorry to say it, but there's things that you have to be very careful when you're in that corner. You have to make a really good decision at the right time. Sometimes there's a thin line between making the right and the wrong decision, and that's what happens. When that cut happened, a lot of people know with experience that cut was not going to stop bleeding. There is nothing you can do to stop the blood on that cut. And on that fight, they should have stopped it, a round later. I think it happened in the second round. They should have stopped it in the third before it even finished the fourth, maybe to a no contest, maybe, whatever it was, but they shouldn't let it go. But they had hope. The team, for some reason, they had that hope that, their fighter could win, maybe knock out Fundora, but it was just hard because it's a big distraction. They don't understand that when you got blood running through your face and it's affecting your vision and stuff like that, it's a big distraction. You're not focusing on your strategy, on the fight plan. It's just you're not 100% there mentally, and it is. So you have to make the decision of stopping the fight so that you can save the fighter from taking more punishment in the later rounds and walking out with a defeat.
Is there sometimes a moment, when a corner doesn't react that way? Do you feel like it's the fighter that has more power or has more influence?
No. You're in full control. The fighter is a fighter. Me as a fighter, every fighter in that ring is gonna always push the limits. They're never gonna say stop the fight. They're gonna keep going because they always got that hope, that they can do it, that they can win. I've had fighters that have been in really tough fights and they're taking a beating and they still want to keep going. But you know what? You gotta make the decision. You are the boss in that corner. You gotta make the decision for them because their adrenaline is pumping high right at that point. So you gotta make the right decision, even though sometimes, they get mad or whatnot. But you gotta take care of them. You're there for them. You're there to take care of them and bring them home safe to the families because you never know at the end of the day. You gotta make the right decision. Sometimes they're like, no, don't stop it. I want to keep going. You got to make the decision and say, hey, it's over and it's over.
And Coach, as much as it is a game plan inside that boxing, that square circle, there's also battles that you guys as trainers, as management have to do outside the ring. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys also manage, making the right decisions for your fighters outside of that square circle?
Well, definitely. You have to see what's favorable for your fighter. Outside the ring, you got to look at the plan. If we fight this guy, where's he going to take us? we'd rather take this guy because he's going to take us to another level. Like you said earlier, I mean, sometimes just taking easy fights, we're going to be right there. We're going to be sitting there in a hole. Sometimes it's good to take a risk and fight a fighter with a name that, even though you end up with a loss, but putting up a good fight, you know, it's going to put you up. For example, let's go back to the Ramon Cardenas Inoa fight. I mean, we had no chance. The fans, everybody, they didn't give us a chance. But what happened? Ramon Cardenas fought hard and dropped Inoa. And what happened? After that, Ramon came out of that ring, I mean, with a loss, but a lot of people know him. Now a lot of people talk about Ramon Cardenas. That's one of the moments that I can tell you that it benefited Ramon. Even though he has a loss, it benefited him. Now people know who Ramon Cardenas is, and now he's attractive to the fans. Yeah. Those are the decisions that we make outside the ring for our fighters. What benefits our fighter? Sometimes there's fighters that, okay, they take a little risk, but you know what? Even if you lose, it's okay for you. You're gonna be known. The public is gonna know you. The fans are gonna see you and they're gonna like you. That's what you want. We make the right decisions to make the right moves for our fighters outside the ring before they step in the ring.
Perfect, Coach. And another movement at 154 that news that dropped about a week and a half ago is Boots Ennis fighting little known Usma Lima, who is a 154-pounder, full 154-pounder out of Portugal. What are your thoughts, first of all, on Boots Ennis, his skills?
That's an easy fight for Boots Ennis. Nobody knows who it is. In Portugal, I mean, there's really not a lot of fighters from Portugal. I mean, you know, the boxing is very low in Portugal. Giving him an opponent like that with a record like that, maybe most of his record is at home, not good opposition in his record. So it's just a fight to keep Boots Ennis busy, where he's going to look good, but he's not going to benefit him at all because nobody knows what he is.
And what are your thoughts on Boots Ennis as a fighter?
Boots Ennis is a great fighter. He's a very dangerous fighter for anybody, you know. But I mean, he hasn't been tested against a big name, you know. But obviously, every single one of his fights. I mean, his last fight he fought Staniones. He really beat Staniones. You know, he put a beating on him. He showed his skills. He showed his dominance. I mean, he's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. Boots Ennis is a great fighter. But I mean, the way he beat Staniones proved to the people that he belongs in that level. I mean, remember, Staniones went the distance and took the title from Raja Butaya, one of my fighters. I mean, Raja Butaya wasn't 100% for that fight. He had some health issues during the fight. But I mean, taking nothing from Staniones, tough fighter, you know. And Boots Ennis, it was a walk in the park for him. So, you know, that says a lot about him.
What do you rate Boots Ennis? Is he an A level fighter right now? B plus level fighter?
I think he's a B plus level. He's a B plus level fighter.
And in your opinion, to go to the A levels, who does he have to fight? What kind of names?
Virgil Ortiz. Fundora.
And again, with him, you know, filling up the 154-pound, do you feel like that's a weight that benefits him? Do you feel like he's more of a natural?
Yeah. What, he was at 147. He recently moved to 54. He's a big boy. He's a big boy, and like every other fighter, you know, once they have a little bit of trouble making the division, it's time to move up. And look, just same as Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford at 154, he's solid. You know, he was at 140 for a while and did everything he had to do at 140. Moved to 47 and did his job at 147. But there was a time where he matures, his body matures, and it's time to let's make that next move. 54. And that's it. You're a solid 154-pounder.
Yeah. And Coach, you also have a top 10 154-pounder, Madrimov. What are some names that make sense, like you said, to elevate him, to get him, obviously, those big title fights, those big bag fights? What are some names that stick out to you that you're like?
Well, first of all, with Israel Madrimov, you know, he has an injury. He's recovering from his injury right now. I mean, he has surgery. He's recovering. We're looking forward to maybe see him again, you know, in December again. And I don't know if you remember, there's still the fight in the air. There's still the fight in the air against Bohashuk. You know, right now, I mean, I would like to see him come back, you know, get an easy fight again. Like I said, me as a coach, coming back from the Virgil Ortiz fight, which was a great tough fight for him, you know, I don't want to put him in again against another tough opponent like a Fundora. I would like to get him an easier opposition, build him up again. bring his confidence up, and then put him up against those names out there because he belongs there. But for right now, as far as I'm concerned, they threw the name again, Bohashuk, the fighter he was supposed to fight in December.
Yeah, and I guess I feel like a lot of the fight fans, will be understanding because he fought Virgil, he fought Crawford. They can see, him getting a stay busy fight and then come back and fight another named fighter. The 154 division, coach, is one of the most sought out divisions right now. Normally it's the welterweight division, and in years past the middleweight division, the heavyweight division. It looks like the 154 pound division is is in the limelight right now.
Right now is one of the hottest divisions right now in the sport of boxing, the 154 pound division, because you have Crawford, you have Virgil, you have Fundora, you have Bohashuk, you have Madrimov, you have all these guys that are making a lot of noise right now in the sport.
Yeah, and one of the names that's been called out a lot, but it seems like he's inactive, is one of the Charlo twins that still campaigns at 154. Is that a fight that interests you because of the name attraction?
Yeah, the Charlo brothers, I mean, they're not really that active. They don't have many activity throughout the year. But obviously, the Charlo brothers have a name. They have a name to fight anybody. It's always a good fight for any fighter right now at the division.
Yeah. And Coach, we are 1 month away from Canelo versus Crawford.